It's Tuesday, everybody, and we are coming in hot. We had one of those days where you and I must have talked for 90 minutes, and we realized we really ought to podcast. Let's dive in. We started early today, like, hey, we're going to get stuff done, and here it is late because we got a podcast, and we're excited to be with you guys. We have so much. We got news up front. We are continuing from last time, which I really enjoyed. Cars that need to come back. We're going to do the back half of the alphabet, which I realized has got fewer car companies. But back half of the alphabet, in through V.
I found a few.
I got
some.
And
I doubled up because I wanted extra models from the same car company. Excellent. So I might have added a few.
I love it. That'll be great stuff. We'll talk through that. Of course, we've got car debates. We keep running so long on our Topic Tuesday that we don't even get to car conclusions. We'll hopefully get to a couple of those. You guys have also given us some really good questions. There's a lot of stuff. But I have to ask a favor. Have you seen our CODA road trip series? It is now 6. That's right. Count them. 6 parts. It is on this exact same channel. It's right here. You found us already on YouTube if you're watching, so it's on the same channel. Yep. We have all 6 parts. Every one of them, you find any one of them, you can find the playlist for all of them. All of them connect. We went from Utah, here where we're based, to Austin, to Circuit of the Americas, and then all the way to Knoxville. Great roads the entire way, broke it up into 6 parts, drove different cars every time. If you haven't seen it, please watch it. If you've seen it, watch it again. If you know somebody that might like road trip films, we work so hard on these. We love doing them. I really hope you've watched it. I hope you will pass it on to friends. We are doing more. We're already, I can't tell you yet, but we're already talking about next year's big road trip films.
Yes.
It's already happening, but we were so excited. And I also want to say, we recently had our Beartooth trip. We don't normally, except for the CODA piece, film during these trips. But the Beartooth trip, we had an opportunity with our sponsor, PowerStop, who just wanted us to do a piece that is about kind of the day in the life. Well, day in the life for us is like sit here and do a podcast. So that's not quite as interesting.
A lot of coffee.
You're already watching that.
Start the engine.
Exactly right.
Drive.
So, and lots of edit. Lots of me in a dark room. So you don't want to watch that. But we did actually film our Beartooth trip. We're going to share that for PowerStop actually later in the year. So that's exciting too. So that's coming up. But we have news. There's news up front, all kinds of mixed news.
Yeah, we do. On a sad note, the father of the Miata, Tom Matano, has passed at age 77. And he was so many things to so many people. I love that he was an Art Center alum, just like I am. He was also notably the designer of the FD RX-7.
Which is one of the prettiest cars ever.
I
that
totally
is
agree.
Up there with E-Type and Z-Car, and I think the LC500 cars that 20, 30 years later still attractive.
Also Art Center alum. Anyway, props to my school.
There you go. Good for you. Yep.
But Tom was an incredible guy, incredible designer, and so gracious with his time. One of the stories that stood out was simply a blurb, an excerpt that I cut out of a magazine 20 years ago. It was I can't remember which magazine.
There's no magazines to cut anything out of now, so it would have been 20 years ago. Yeah, keep going.
But I have saved this article. I couldn't find it yet, but it's somewhere in my files. I wanted to dig it up, but it was all about Tom inspiring his designers, his design team one time.
All right.
And I think I've told this story a little bit before, but Tom took his design team to a fashion show. Something totally out of the ordinary. You would think designers just are prolific and they don't need inspiration. They just draw stuff. Well, they absolutely do and need to be refreshed constantly by the world around them, by nature, by fashion, anything that would influence them to bring a new perspective, to bring a fresh product that would inspire people to buy it. So he took this design team to a fashion show and asked his designers to view things differently and watch the ladies walk a catwalk and how fabric draped over their bodies. And it was, I mean, it sounds sexual, but it's not, but it was, I thought it was kind of beautiful,
but
actually.
It's movement and beauty, and I get it.
It was just the human form and the human figure and how fabric draped and colors and textures and what that did. You either hated it or you liked it because it's not something that design teams typically do, is go to a fashion show. And I don't exactly remember where it was. I don't think it was Milan or anything super high end, but it was just a totally different perspective that he had to everything that he did. And so he created this incredible car that is beloved by millions that simply cannot die. And he would always, you remember, he would always sign off email signatures. He would always say, always inspired. And it left things to the future. It left us all looking to what's next. He was always truly inspired by everything around him. And that's what I got out of this article. And I couldn't believe this.
That's really cool.
Man, what a cool guy. What an inspired guy. And he was always being inspired. And he got energy from talking to other people. And it was, if you've met him, you you will know, but even if you haven't, it's so encouraging and certainly inspiring to hear about this guy, that what he did by inspiring people to buy a Miata. I mean,
that's really
Tom
cool.
and the Miata are inextricably linked forever in my mind. So
Miata coupe you've got there in the photo?
I think
amazing.
It's a coupe, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, what a great car. Let's hope it lives on forever in his memory, and so many people love it, including Jordan, who we actually just had here recently with his third gen, his NC Turbo Miata. That's fascinating. That test drive is actually coming soon. I should acknowledge, we haven't had a lot on test drive in the last 2-3 months, because to be honest, we haven't gotten press cars in the last 2-3 months.
Car companies haven't had
exactly. So there hasn't been stuff.
Test drive.
So there's more stuff coming on test drive that actually ramps up in about a week, and then we have a lot more stuff coming on test drive through the end of the year and into next year. So we've got some changes coming there, but thank you for finding us here. That channel is Test Drive Videos, is our other channel, so that'll be even more focused on doing that. So that's happening as well. But yeah, we're sorry to hear the passing of Tom.
Moving on to the next piece of news here about Porsche. And I'm not really a I told you so kind of a guy, but I will just...
You're going to have your moment, aren't you?
I'm going to try not to relish it too much.
Okay.
But the good news is that Porsche has delayed new EVs because they are calling it the product strategy realignment. And by good news, I mean that they're going to rethink the 718 Boxster and Cayman to offer an internal combustion engine, which
they're talking about having that engine in all of their cars. Yeah.
Look, I welcome what they're doing, because on screen you will see the Macan. And the new Macan EV represents 60% of Macans sold.
Okay.
Up to the first half of 2025.
Is that because they weren't selling a new one that wasn't EV? Is that why?
Well, I suppose, but they were selling Macans in general. So
True,
45,000 plus examples of Macan were sold, and then almost 60% of those, almost 26,000 of those were Macan EVs. And I'm starting to see them around Park City quite a lot.
Seen a few, yeah.
Seeing turbos. It's not really a turbo.
I don't think they're attractive, but that's a separate conversation.
Yeah, I don't either. But they are definitely still exploring both, and I think a broad portfolio strategy was what's needed that not every car company adhered to. They either stayed where they were or went fully in one direction. So I think a broader, more comprehensive approach with vehicles in all categories and see what works, because the market has clearly informed Porsche.
It's market forces.
Here's what we want. So I love that they're rethinking the EV strategy for the 718 Cayman and Boxster. That hopefully means more GT4s, and keep the manuals around and continue to provide cars that people want. But I love that they're exploring, and people are clearly buying Macan EVs. They have delayed, I think, the new SUV, which is above the Cayenne. It's a larger vehicle.
Their 7-seater, which was going to be EV only.
only.
But it may not be EV only. We'll see. Yeah.
But they're pushing, they're exploring, and that's what we expect car companies to do: is continue to explore new technologies, push on the market, make offerings, and if they stumble, the market will correct them, and that's what happened.
Yeah. I mean, Porsche's done some very cool EV technology. I really like the hybrid technology in their new GTS, that they're working their way through kind of the hybridized turbos. I think that's genius stuff. So Porsche has always been really a heavy hitter in technology and engineering, so I hope that continues. And I'm with you. I want every manufacturer to sell all kinds of cars, and that's part of why we're talking about cars that need to come back. We're talking about the cars that don't exist anymore because everybody's making a 5-seat egg. So, we'll get to that. I have one other bit of news that I have to talk about, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to laugh about this news. I'm going to make fun of this news because I cannot help myself. So we're going to talk about a bit of news that you may have read. I read it 3 or 4 places, and I cannot believe that what I'm about to talk about exists.
Okay.
Let me set the scene real quick. All right?
There's a scene.
Here's the reality. We've all seen. Look, remember when there were phones that were getting broken on airplanes and they were catching fire because lithium batteries are nearly impossible to put out?
Yeah.
Well, that carries over to cars, and you've heard this already. One of the biggest problems with electric vehicles is the fact that when they catch fire, they are nearly impossible to put out because they have all those little. Imagine like thousands of AAA batteries. That's kind of what we're talking about. They're sitting next to each other. Well, you pierce one of them and it catches fire. And then the 10 around it are probably all damaged.
Thermal runaway is the term.
Yeah, but they might not all start to catch fire now. So in some cases, literally, the way to put out an EV fire is you pick up the car and you drop it into a container of water and just leave it and let it burn out.
For like a year.
It's craziness. So a burning EV battery pack is a horrifying prospect. And now we get to Chinese technology that I have to show you, and I have it in animated form, and I am so excited about this. I can barely stand myself. I don't know how well this will play.
Oh my gosh.
But a Chinese company demonstrated this past week at a Chinese technology thing, a ejection battery system. Where in order to deal with the fire, it ejects the battery. Now, let's look at two scenarios here. The concept here is that the car, and I think they used a Rivian as a test vehicle. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they used. What's happening on screen here is that literally it is showing in GIF form, so it is repeating over and over and over. It is showing an SUV eject what looks like a massive card table out of the side of itself. That is the battery getting ejected with force out of the side of the vehicle. So
I could watch this. I'm mesmerized.
Yes, I know.
I'm completely mesmerized.
Here's the thing. Let's think about two possible scenarios here. Your electric vehicle has wound up somewhere that has a fire, or the battery might catch fire, and so you eject the battery out of the side of the car to keep it from catching fire. This is, by the way, best case scenario, because now all it is a huge flying projectile. That's the best case. Because the worst case is it's already caught fire and you're protecting the people in the car, and so you eject a flaming battery into traffic. You eject a flaming projectile the size of a card table, literally as big as what we're sitting at. You eject this while on fire away from your vehicle. You are now safe, but now this card table of flame that is getting worse is sitting 20 feet from your car. Is it under another car? Is it in the brush?
Yes.
Where is that that you can't put out? This is like a fire delivery system. I can't even believe this. This is like the world's worst fire. You know the fire starter logs? It's that at scale with a projectile behind it. I cannot believe this technology exists. Now, somebody made the comment, wouldn't it be cool if you could do battery swaps like this? And that I actually agree with. Like, tone this down and make it a battery swap process. That I agree with. But I cannot believe that somebody has taken this idea. This is such one-note thinking. Here's the singular note. Well, if a battery in our electric car catches fire, we should get the battery out of the car. Zero awareness that anything outside the car exists in that scenario. Because you either launched a projectile that's super heavy because it's batteries, that isn't on fire and crushed whatever's next to it, or you launched it on fire, and now it's like a sliding bomb of carnage. We have solved one problem and made like 20 more. I'm absolutely astonished, but it makes me laugh so hard. I had to contain myself when I was reading about this because I could not believe this exists.
Sometimes my faith in humanity is challenged.
This is one of those times.
So with this, I can see humanity deciding if this were to make production, there are going to be wars. With two cars
there you go.
facing off.
This is the new Mad Max.
Ejecting the flaming battery at each other to see who can destroy the other. It's EVs plus cannons. Not only are you carrying a flaming battery, but now you're carrying another ejection device, an explosive device,
for sure.
in addition to the
Next
other
to the battery.
Explosive devices known as airbags in your car.
Oh, yeah.
What if those explosive devices decide to fail and the flaming battery remains in your car?
What if the explosive device doesn't eject your battery, but the explosive device itself is what lights your battery on fire? I mean,
that's a possibility too.
If this isn't being used as a plot point in the screenplay of the next Fast and Furious, they have missed the boat.
It's going to be wars of these EVs ejecting their batteries at each other, and one's going to win, and you didn't see it coming, and you're going to pull a move.
The self-ejecting battery pack.
Because you're going to rewire it to be a button on the dash or something, and I'm going to eject the battery.
Talk about road rage.
And then I'll limp home on the 12 volts somehow. It'll still power my wheels, so I'm not dead in the water or dead in the street or whatever.
Oh, I mean, come on.
This is where humanity is going. We're going to eject.
Fast and Furious did Space Fiero.
Yeah,
this is coming. This is no big deal if you had Space Fiero. This is like low-hanging fruit. I kind of want to call the podcast done. I kind of feel like anything we do after that is only going to be a letdown. But we have to come back to Topic Tuesday and more cars we think need to come back, doing N through, I guess it's V for Volvo.
Griot's Garage is our official car care partner and one of the first ever sponsors of our show. They don't just make great car care products, they want you to get out and drive.
Griot's is a family-owned company, and they've been a part of every one of our road trips. We always take speed shine on every shoot, helping us spot clean cars in a moment's notice.
Griot's foaming glass cleaner is the quickest and best way we've ever found to get windows clean before a big day of driving. Griot's is always releasing new and improved products like their updated wash bucket too.
Plus, all of Griot's liquid products are 100% guaranteed and made right here in the U.S. The Griot's folks are always happy to answer any questions you have and make sure you get the right product and the right results.
So get the best quality car care products out there from a company that has always supported this show. Our audience can always get at least 10% off by using the code DRIVER10 at griotsgarage.com. Today's Topic Tuesday is a continuation of cars that need a comeback. And we realize it's not just brands, it's not just names, it has to be the name that was the car and that entire car that needs to come back. Yep. And this is business case because I think car companies fell away from doing sports cars. Toyota accepted. Yeah. But most people lean into hybridization and new tech is coming and 5-seat silver SUVs that now everybody's bought one, maybe 2 or 4.
Yep.
And people kind of want fun cars again. And so that's where this was born out of, and that is what cars, they don't have to sell in volume like RAV4s, but they need to get people excited about their brands again. And that's my entire headspace for the second half of the alphabet, N through Z. Starting with N, I'm going to go through my list and jump right in here.
Please.
Starting with Nissan, I thought long and hard.
Okay.
But I chose the 240 SX.
Okay, I like it.
Because this was the simple recipe that everybody wants. It's popular, of course, with drifting culture, tuning culture, and it had that 2.4-liter engine in it.
Yeah.
Okay, so people really liked that. 1989 to 1992 is when this was built, but considered a sports compact car. And this doesn't have to be the flagship. It doesn't have to be the technology showcase like a new GTR would be.
Yeah.
We think there's one coming back. But
theoretically, yes.
that lasted too long. This one didn't last long enough, but it's just a simple, fun sports car. Front engine, rear-wheel drive, manual transmission, that recipe. The next generation of this could kind of look like anything. They could use the engine out of the Murano to drop into the next iteration.
I mean, the next gen of this, I actually loved the next gen of this, but then they killed it after that one. The more rounded gen that came after this, I think was just called the 240. This is the SX. I think it was just called, either way. Both of those were great. And you're right. Then they died.
Displacement engine.
And they don't have, frankly, this is a GR86 competitor.
Exactly right. Whereas the Z is more Supra and it's more heavier GT car. They could really lightweight things. They could do hybridization in this if they want, but keep it lightweight, keep it simple, clean, fun, and bring the fun back to Nissan instead of trying to cater to what everybody thinks everybody's buying, even though there are those bread and butter models and those are important, but 240 SX is my choice. The subsequent versions of this were pretty great looking. I like them a lot. So this is Nissan, what I think they should bring back. And moving on to the letter O.
Oh, okay. Who'd you cover?
I covered Opel.
Did you really? That's gorgeous. I love it.
You remember the 1968 to 1973 Opel GT.
Yeah.
Tiny, lightweight, fun to drive. Just a little tiny GT. It was a sports car, but just a very small GT car.
It was tiny, yeah.
The version in the back that you think is a Saturn Sky, that is also the Opel GT. I'm not talking about that one. That's why it's behind and way in the back. I'm talking about the longer, beautiful sculptural proportions.
But to your point, they brought the name back for that.
They did bring the name back. That was
how they sold the Saturn Sky in Europe, as they sold it as the Opel. Yeah.
So there is that precedent. But then in 2016, they dabbled. Do you remember this?
I don't.
There was the concept Opel GT in 2016 that I thought was superb. Of course, concept only, but it was designed to get your eye looking at shape and proportion and a little bit of color.
It's reminiscent of the original.
Some fun.
Yeah.
Very much so. This died with the merger of PSA, and at the time, 10 years ago, sports cars, lightweight, small, fun cars were kind of disappearing from the market.
Yeah.
Toyota accepted.
True. Yeah.
But most manufacturers were leaning into the people movers, the crossover, the SUV at that point. That was pretty heavy in car manufacturers' thinking. But this was designed by Mark Adams. He is still senior designer at Opel. And I thought the design language on this was so simple and clean, interesting, and frankly, perfect timing to bring this back for Opel.
You know what this looks like? This looks like the Icon SP from Mazda.
It does.
There's a lot of that feel.
I think the GR86 will continue, but at least it's currently in the market.
Yeah.
we think that iconic SP
Let's
is
hope
coming
so,
back.
yeah.
More and more people are demanding fun, lightweight sports cars because I think we've all had it up to our eyeballs with the eggs, the 5-seat.
Which one do you want?
They have their place.
Absolutely.
It makes the budget
Yes.
work. It makes the family work, but I think car manufacturers need to get people excited again. And Opel had what I feel like is an original concept from 2016 that they could expound upon. They could take it further and make that Opel brand worldwide. I think they could bring Opel here easily to North America and have it serviced at GM dealers or something like that.
It. Yeah, there is that
Drop a
follow through. Yeah.
little engine in that. So there is a lightweight sports car
Very
GT
good.
theme throughout everything that I'm doing here. Moving on to Porsche.
Okay.
You might recognize this car. It is the Griot's Garage Porsche 914, I believe built in conjunction with Canepa Design. Yep. I fell in love with this car.
I know you did.
This was, to me, the spawn of the Cayman, the genesis, the origin of what Caymans became.
For sure.
This particular car had steel fenders, a 2-inch roof chop. You'll note no door handle, so it was the solenoid that kicked the door open. And what I was told was close to a $50,000 paint job, 11-inch rear wheels, and a 930 engine. The engine out of a Porsche 930 dropped in the back of this thing, flat 6.
It was superb to drive.
It was so much fun.
I wanted my 2 inches of headroom back.
I did too, but I loved what it did to the proportions here.
It looked great, but I really, really wanted that space back.
I miss this car. I don't know what happened to it. I think it went back to Canepa for a rebuild or a repaint or something happened to it, but I miss it like crazy. And thank you, Griot's Garage, for letting us drive that. It was the same time that we did the Jaguar, the original Jag,
E-Type.
E-Type. It was such a fun review, and driving these two cars around, it just seemed like such iconic things to me.
Yeah.
So this particular car, like I said, it looked like no other 914 that I've seen, and it was just done right. So I want that to be brought back. Here it is out on the drive when we were finishing up at night. And I also found another Gulf liveried 914 at the, here's the interior, just simple, clean. It was just all about driving. The end.
Very simple, but really well done. Very, very expensive build, yeah.
Here was that other Gulf liveried 914 that I saw. I really liked the interior. And again, you can see the roof has the unmolested,
I'm telling you, I need the space.
Taller roof line, but I think Porsche could be so successful in bringing back a smaller, lightweight model here. And this was the interior of that Gulf liveried car. The other one, I'm taking liberties. I'm adding a second one, and you will not be surprised that I'm asking for Porsche to bring the GT back simply because Mercedes is doing one across town.
True.
Ferrari's got the Amalfi. Aston Martin's got the Vantage. Everybody's kind of doing a GT car. The Corvette can be a GT car too.
Interesting point. But the long nose front engine feel that does exist right now. You're right. There's a good number of those.
So
Porsche
here's
could
just
do it. Yeah.
sexy photos of my 928. I love this car.
I was in this recently. You drove it recently, and you picked me up. And in spite of the fact this still needs a few things, this is an incredible car. It's a very cool car to ride in. I mean, everything from, I know it sounds crazy, but everything from the way the door opens to the quality of the seats, it's just a cool car. And it would be very interesting to know what would Porsche's updated version of that car be. That'd be fascinating.
I think both of those are viable business choices.
Yeah, I see it.
Especially in light of their refiguring their company out.
Yes,
I think this could be viable. While I was digging up photos of my 928, I came across the old Lemons race that you and I did, and I came across the beloved sports car, race car, known as Porsche Honky. And I just had to share these photos.
You have to explain
completely
this.
off topic.
You have to explain this to people that can't see it.
So if you know Lemons Racing, it's a mishmash of cars, and the owner of the 944, I think the story was something like it was crashed in the front end, and he decided to turn it into a Lemons race car and simply added the front of a 1983 Scottsdale pickup truck. So it
is old Chevy pickup from the front bumper to the A-pillar.
Look at this thing.
Unabashed. It's just Chevy pickup until the A-pillar. And then beginning miraculously at the A-pillar, the fenders jump in like 3 inches from the fenders to where the doors start of a 944 that goes to the back end. By the way, not slow on track because there's a V8 in there.
Yeah, Chevy V8. And you would see the front end of a Chevy Scottsdale pickup that's too low coming at you hot because this thing was fast.
He was fast, genuinely fast. They carried speed because it's essentially a 944 with the front end of it. It's so ridiculous.
Porsche
it's
honky.
Completely ridiculous.
I love this thing. So I just had to show the photos because I came across them. I think we've talked about it before, but I'm not sure if I've actually shown the photos on this thing.
It's completely absurd.
It's baffling. I mean, it's damaged, it's beat up, but who cares? And that's part of the charm.
That's Lemon's cars. So somebody, here's the thing. Somebody has the thinking to go, I don't have a front end on my 944. I wonder if a truck would work. What? How did you even get there? How did you even get there? Let alone because that's the step you have to come to before you go, well, let me look into that. You have to have that idea. There wasn't even maybe we should merge it with a vet. No. Pickup.
Like, that front end will fit just fine. Even if it doesn't, it'll fit just fine. Crazy. So there you go. Porsche honk. See, Scottsdale,
it's ridiculous.
It's fantastic.
It's about as bad as it gets, but it's very Lemons.
I think it's nailed on.
I don't know. They made it work. That's what I know.
Fantastic. All right, moving on to Renault. From 1996 to 1999, Renault produced the Sport Spider that was built by Alpine and designed by a man named Patrick Lecourmont, whom I have met actually at one of the Autodesk design events. I had the pleasure of hanging out with him and another group of designers and Autodesk people, and it was really cool to hear from him. At that point in his career, he had moved on to designing custom yachts for his very high-end customers.
Like to do.
But he was with Renault for a long time, and he is responsible for the Sport Spider, which was a 2,000-pound car.
Wow, I love it.
Powered by a Renault Megane engine. Here it is with the gull-wing doors up. Mm-hmm. And here is the engine. Super lightweight, super impractical, but imagine.
but it's Renault makes an Elise. It's Renault makes an Elise.
Yes.
Yeah, I see you.
Exactly right. And this thing, actually in race car form, made 180 horsepower, 148 horsepower in the road-going version
Very
here.
similar to the Elise early on.
Yes, exactly right. It was that kind of thinking. And because it was a Spider, you don't put the top on, you just cover the interior.
Yes,
with
you
a
have
little
an
blanket.
Interior cover. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine, yeah.
But I think, again, this kind of lightweight sort of thinking, it is not directly, but kind of distantly related to the, late 60s Alpine A110 kind of thinking as well.
Yeah.
But this kind of just little project, and it was just an exploratory thing to build something lightweight. It could be under the Alpine brand. But again, you're seeing a through line. Lightweight, mid-engine. I mean, 2,000 pounds. This thing
that's crazy,
could have been powered by a electric drill, but, that's my Renault choice. And then moving on to letter S. Subaru.
Okay, like it.
Needs to bring back the Brat.
No one is surprised. No one's followed the podcast is surprised that Paul would like a new Brat.
I want this car.
It'll be bigger, so it's called the Brute now?
I don't know. I think just Brat. Just bringing Brat. Bring this thing back. I ran into a very nice one in Seattle and took photos and dug these out of the archives because the seats were perfect. They were clean. This whole thing was clean, perfect. I think it's just being driven around Seattle.
I just love the idea of these seats that are just rear-facing seats with hand grips, no seat belts. This is so
drain holes in the seats.
This is so not of this era of car making. Yes. It's so far from that. And what I would like to see, besides them bringing it back, how do you, under modern crash standards, pull off an homage to the back seats?
I mean, it was the seats that allowed it to be sold here. Of course, the chicken tax story.
Oh, I know. There was a whole,
It was fantastic.
Ridiculous,
so I want the Brat to come back in some form. And then I actually ran across this image, which was a photo chop done with a front end of a fairly recent Subaru, some sort of Outback, and then kind of grafting on the back. So
Somebody
it would be like the future of what it could look like. I'm not sure it needs to be quite this ugly, but maybe keeping with the ugly theme would make it endearing or something.
It does have a somewhat modern Subaru front end and kind of a brickish back end.
Maybe we could it's just a vision of what could be possible.
Yes, possibly.
Let's make it maybe slightly better looking and bring back the Brat because it could be a race car, it could be a track car. You pick up
your Brat track car. That's a Lemons car is what that is.
That's a Lemons car off the showroom floor. Or something like that.
Yes,
that's how they could market and sell it.
Perfect.
So I want the Brat to be brought back because it is an enthusiast car. It's a little bit off-road. It's just a little bit of everything, and it just brings out
I see it.
attitude that you didn't know was inside you.
It brings out playfulness in Subaru, which is not something they really have anymore.
their
I'm
entire
sorry, but
lineup
it's true.
with the BRZ accepted.
Yes.
That's playful and fun, but everybody knows like that doesn't really belong there. That's not
Yes.
really Subaru. It's just a badge and some color, right?
I mean,
this
it's
could
a
be-
collaboration, which is why it doesn't match anything else in their lineup. Yeah.
To get this back in the market, who does Subaru need to collaborate with to make it possible? Maybe Toyota. And what if Toyota had another version of this and
It's
sold it in Australia as a Ute?
It's the Hyundai. It's a Hyundai collaboration for the second gen of the Santa Cruz. It
Here we
becomes
go.
the Brat at Subaru, because I'm all about collaborations for this conversation, and it becomes the updated Santa Cruz over at Hyundai.
That's good. That's good.
trying.
This is how we're going to bring this car back. So it's going to happen, believe you me. Also, I'm taking liberties here, actually staying on the letter S for Suzuki.
Mm-hmm.
The Jimny got
Okay.
discontinued in 2018. It's been around since like 1970 or something.
And it was here for like 5 minutes. They used to have
forever.
them here.
Yeah. I want the Jimny, a mini off-roader, a K-car off-roader.
Mm-hmm.
I think this would sell like crazy. I
when
think it'd
you
be beloved.
When you think about the amount of money and the number of UTVs that are out there that are essentially just less than car-sized off-roaders, let's make a mini actually available on the road and can still off-roader. I think it's great.
I mean, everything between the Suzuki Samurai and this could probably go away, but that was cool. The Samurai was cool.
The Kazashi was good. From
The Kazashi
Subaru,
was good.
and the SX4 was decent. It wasn't an enthusiast car except for in some trims. It was decent.
Yeah.
The Kazashi was great, actually.
The Jimny, bring the Jimny back. Keep this going. People have turned it into a mini G-Wagon. I think even Brabus got a hold of this and turned
I'm
it
sure
into
they
a
did, yeah.
little mini G-Wagon that was way too expensive and coated in leather. But nevertheless, keep the Jimny. Love this thing. I want to drive one at some point. Just
Okay,
I want to experience it.
That's good.
Moving to Toyota, I think the obvious choice here is the MR2. This is the Spider that we had on the $8,000 cheap sports car challenge that many of you have written to us about. You found that video. Many people have watched it. It still remains. We went through the COVID era and prices spiked and everybody said, no, those cars aren't worth that much. And well, they weren't. And then I think now we're back to normal. So
Just
the
about, yeah.
$8,000 term still kind of applies. I think we're still
I think you can start
Good.
shopping those cars again. Yeah, for sure.
Here it is, the MR2 in some form. Spider, hardtop,
Okay.
both.
Yep.
Mid-engine, lightweight, fun car. That's my choice for Toyota. With V, I chose two different brands because WXYZ, I'm not sure what to cover there. So
Yes.
with V, I started with Volkswagen and the Scirocco. The
Okay.
Scirocco
All right.
or the Corrado.
Okay.
I'll
All right. Sure.
allow the
Sure.
Corrado in too, but some sort of cool, fun two-door, well, actually three-door hatch. They could take a page out of Hyundai's book and
Sure.
do a Veloster N like this.
Okay,
Or something
okay, yeah,
quirky,
yeah.
unique,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
something that injects fun back into the Volkswagen brand. You remember that Volkswagen, right? Fun? Scirocco could be fun. And we've decided that front-wheel drive does not mean that it's not an enthusiast car.
True.
It means it drives differently, but the Veloster N proved everything. Civic Type R.
Civic Type R does it too.
Fiesta
yeah.
ST.
Absolutely.
They're
Yep.
fun. This thing needs to be chucked around corners. It needs to have more than 90 horsepower. But
like it.
Scirocco,
I like
I
it.
love the second gen or the third gen actually that we never got in
That's great.
in North America. So also moving on to Volvo. I have decided Volvo needs to bring back some sort of cool, fun sports coupe like the P1800. I'm showing the cyan build here just because I liked it.
It
That's
was like
what the car needed.
a multi-$100,000 custom build, but it's very, very cool. Yes.
So this car was designed by a Swedish gentleman, Pelle Pettersson, who studied under the Italian designer Pietro Frua, whose design studio was a subsidiary of Ghia at the time. So Swedish designer on this car, but still influenced by the Italians, and you can tell.
It looks
It
great,
is
yeah.
beautiful,
Yeah, it looks
sexy
great.
looking, long hood. I think absolutely Volvo could bring back something like this that is an appealing sports coupe, again, to inject fun into the brand and make people come into the showrooms and like, oh yeah, well, we need one of those, the multi-passenger people thing. We'll,
Yeah. Well, everybody's got those.
we'll
That's not
take
hard.
that. And then
And
this.
one of those.
What is this now?
While I'm here, how about a fun thing? That'd be nice. Yeah.
So the theme is lightweight GT, fun through line
You did well.
throughout GT
You did
or,
really well.
or mid-engine. I think all of these could make a viable business case to bring back, to keep these nameplates going. I think people would respond positively. I think customers would like this.
Yeah.
This is my thinking for the rest of the list. We're adding FCP Euro as our partners and supporters for both Everyday Driver and Hooked on Driving. For nearly 40 years, FCP Euro has been an industry-leading supplier of genuine, original equipment and OEM parts and performance upgrades for European cars.
That means BMW, Audi, Volkswagen, Mini, Mercedes, Volvo, Porsche, and even Saab. Paul, you have to call your brother-in-law and tell him FCP Euro is the place because, as I just said, even Saab. We're putting it in the ad. Anyway.
They offer a lifetime replacement guarantee on everything, including consumables like brake pads, wiper blades, and even oil filters. Buy a replacement, send back the old one, and receive a credit for the full amount.
For your Saab!
Plus, FCP Euro offers free economy shipping on orders over $49 and a 90-day hassle-free return policy for new, unused, and uninstalled parts.
So visit FCP Euro today for more than 300,000 parts ready to ship for your European car and your Saab. FCPEuro.com. I'm going to start as you did with N, and of course that does mean Nissan. So let's jump over to Nissan, but I went somewhere different than you did, and that is, I'm sorry everybody, but we desperately need the Nissan Maxima back.
Oh, you think so?
We need the Maxima.
Four-door sports car.
Exactly. The 4DSC, you literally just type that in and you'll get a bunch of Maxima pictures because when this first came up, I'm showing the one that really made a splash in the U.S., which is the one in the early 90s. This one and the one right after it. I knew so many people that had this. This was a front-wheel drive, genuine four-door with decent space. It was a Camry competitor from Nissan, but it was the much more fun-to-drive car in its era. And I knew so many people that had these at random, well over 200,000 miles. But my vision for the Maxima of the future is that the Maxima became irrelevant because it and the Altima, I'm not sure why you paid more for the Maxima. They were both front-wheel drive, boring CVTs from Nissan, and one was 5 to 10 grand more than the other. It was they tried to do some weird styling things, but ultimately what this needs to be, if you remember last time, I talked about how Infiniti needed to use stuff from the 370Z to make themselves a new G37.
Mm-hmm. Remember that?
This is the same thinking, but to make a rear-wheel drive Maxima. This is the cheaper 3 Series, everybody. That's what this should be.
Yes.
Since Maxima has a history of being a driver's car that is a four-door sedan, let's actually take the engines and the drivetrain that help us make a Z car. And while we make Infiniti on one side, we make a actual four-door. And it needs to, frankly, be small-ish, like late 90s BMW, the E36 era, the E46, early 2000s. Needs to be that scale of four-door, a smallish four-door, rear-wheel drive, the 400-horsepower engine from the Z car.
That's exciting.
And an actual automatic. I mean, a manual, for sure, but an actual automatic, no CVT.
That would sell cars. Yeah.
I think this is a much more interesting place to go than Nissan making another GTR, because as much as the GTR is cool, the GTR has, at this point, no connective tissue to the rest of Nissan's lineup. We make this super crazy moonshot car that does everything. By the way, have you seen our CVT SUV?
Yes.
There's nothing.
Yes.
The Z car is the only other car, and it also is hanging out there like, what am I doing here? It doesn't know. It doesn't know why. Make a Maxima rear-wheel drive sedan. Even if you don't offer a manual, you offer an actual automatic, I still think this is a victory.
I tried to convince my parents to buy one when these
They were
new,
super cool.
and they bought a Buick.
They were super, super cool.
I wanted one
I had an
so
English
bad.
teacher in high school who was not at all cool and knew nothing about cars, but for reasons unknown to us, bought one of these. And she got an extra cool point. She wasn't cool. Extra cool point because she had one of these.
She was up to notch
and we
1?
asked her about it one day, and all she could tell us she loved about it was the stereo. We were like, really?
Not the reason you buy a car, but
okay.
nevertheless.
But anyway, she loved the stereo.
4DSC sold me. I saw that little sticker on the back quarter window. I saw four-door sports car, and I just wanted it. I knew I wanted it.
I agree.
Marketing works.
And also, 4DSC doesn't say anything about front-wheel drive.
Yes.
The four-door sports car could be an actual rear-wheel drive. This is where I'm going with that.
Good.
I'm moving on from Nissan to Polestar. I'm showing a concept from Polestar because here's my concept with Polestar. Polestar.
I like this, by the way.
This is a cool-looking concept.
Is this the 6?
I think so.
6?
It's a concept of a two-door, essentially 2+2 convertible EV from Polestar.
Yeah.
But keep in mind that Polestar is related to Volvo, which means Geely, which means Lotus. So follow me here. Okay? What I think Polestar is uniquely positioned, in spite of the fact that Porsche and everybody else is struggling with an EV sports car, I think Polestar is uniquely positioned to be the people to crack it. I think Polestar needs to make a 2-seat, 2-door, no more than 3,000-pound EV sports car. I think they are, as a brand, uniquely positioned to be there. We're talking about Volvo interior and switchgear because of Geely. We're talking about Lotus handling design because Lotus is under Geely. And Polestar, uniquely positioned to do their boxy electric styling and sell an actual, let's say, $70,000, 70, 80 grand. This is a direct Boxster competitor. It's not designed to be anything else. But I think Polestar, if they could crack this, 3,000 pounds EV, because the problem with EV is not, does it have power? Loads of power.
Yeah.
The problem is, why did it get so heavy? And heavy kills the sports car fun. So can we pull this off? I think Polestar is in a unique spot for this. I would like to see the Polestar EV, and it doesn't even need to be this design, but working other places in the company to make one. I'm going to come back to this later, but I think Polestar is key here for successfully building an electric sports car.
This is good. I like this a lot. I think it's modern sexy. I think it's very
yes.
restrained, maybe a bit too much, but that's the Polestar brand.
That is their brand. Yes, they're very boxy and very,
careful.
Yes.
Don't do, that's a curved surface.
No.
How dare you?
Welcome to Polestar. Here's your ruler. I mean, that's where we are. Yes, for sure. I'm moving on to Porsche. I put up the car that killed James Dean. I'm sorry to say that, but this is the 550 Spyder. Okay. This car, I'm showing it to you also because the reason James Dean died is because there's not much to this car. Even in the 50s, this is zero crash structure. You hit anything, and I'm sorry, but it's a death trap. But it's super tiny and light. And the reason I bring it up is because the 550 is in their nomenclature. You went 914, but 550 and Spyder's in their nomenclature. This is their opportunity to make a car below the Boxster. But I'm going to follow it further. I like collaborations in this whole discussion. This is their collaboration with Toyota. And I'm going somewhere else with Toyota. Toyota gets the MR2 out of this and sells it at 40 grand.
I was wondering, okay.
Porsche gets the 550 Spyder out of this and sells it, I'm talking loaded out the door at 60.
Okay, I was
so
thinking
it's
70,
it's above the MR2, but I'm saying you check all the boxes for all the Porsche stuff and you can't break 60.
I mean, carbon buckets add like 5-10 grand.
Okay, maybe it hits 70 as a result of carbon buckets. But you see my point.
Yes.
The loaded trim of this is a $60,000 car with a Porsche badge, because the problem that Porsche is dealing with right now is they are still an aspirational brand for the everyman.
Yes.
But their cars have left that price point. They have.
Bye-bye.
There they went. And it's tariffs and it's regulations. I get it. But if you look at all the Porsches now this year, they're all a measurable amount more expensive than they were a year ago.
Yeah.
So Porsche, I think, because they are a brand that so many people want, and this Porsche is also uniquely positioned for this. You buy your first one because it's all you can afford, and now you want to climb the ladder. So many
That's the whole point of joining a brand. That was 3 Series, 5 Series, 7 Series. That was the whole thing. That was why cars have been set up since the beginning of time.
But I feel like
Come
so
back,
many other
trade
brands
that in, buy the next one.
Don't have that ladder climb successfully anymore. But I feel like if you could just get somebody over the crest into Porsche new for the first time, then Porsche can have them climb the brand.
The crest.
Fine, very nice. So the 550 Spyder is my Porsche pitch, and again, a collaboration with Toyota to make it happen. Moving on to Ram. I know I'm showing a Dodge Viper to talk about Ram, but I'm using it as a backdoor in, because when I went past Dodge the last time, I thought Dodge is just trucks, and I kept moving.
True.
I forgot about the Viper.
Yeah.
And then I hit Ram in the back half of the list, and of course that is now the officially only truck brand out of Dodge, but Ram has the TRX, which is my guilty pleasure truck, which is an enormous truck, flamboyant enormous truck with a Hellcat motor in it.
Yeah.
I like the Dodge Viper. I'm showing a third gen Dodge Viper. It was my favorite version of the Viper. I wait for them to come down in price. I love the styling. I feel like they nailed the swoopy styling. These were fantastic to drive. But let's just admit that the V10 is probably dead.
I'm fine. It doesn't need a V10. I don't care about the...
It's been its history.
It is, but I don't care about the V10.
I think that Dodge brings back the Viper, puts the Hellcat motor in it, which we're hearing rumors is coming back.
Yeah.
So supercharger noise instead of V10 rumble.
Yeah.
Flamboyant styling, and keep the long nose, cab at the back swoopiness that the Viper's always had, because the other thing that'll happen to Dodge is they'll get old Corvette owners. All the people that complain about, I want a Corvette that has the long nose, this isn't a Corvette anymore, do a Hellcat with a manual in a new Viper body and await money.
You're right. That's the business case. They'll scoop up Corvette owners who aren't
all
sold on the C8.
All the people that don't want the C8 to be mid-engine, this car shouldn't be mid-engine. This car should be Hellcat motor with a manual. Where's that been all my life? In the Viper, I know I backdoored myself in there from Ram,
Fair,
but
that's fine,
I
that's
realized
fine.
I'd forgotten it, and Ram reminded me of the TRX, which had a Hellcat, and I got myself here an update of the Viper, somehow in the back half of the alphabet. But I'm moving on.
That's okay. We're inventing the
I'm
rules
moving
as
on.
we go.
We are inventing the
It's
rules. That's
fine.
exactly what's happening. Moving on from there, Rivian, we've all seen the R3 just make it already. This is
the most
Rivian's,
intriguing of any of their products that they've come up with.
This is the Rivian that looks like a little rally car. It is the smaller one that they haven't offered yet. They're talking about the R2 is about to be here. This is the R3, which is vaporware at this point. It's this cool looking concept. But it looks like a small lifted first-gen Rabbit or Golf. It suggests itself to be little. I suspect this is every bit as big as the Ioniq, which also looks like it's little. The Hyundai Ioniq, and is actually kind of big. This is that size.
This feels even slightly larger than the Ioniq.
It may be. It may
just
be.
a touch.
But I think, go ahead and make the R3 already, but I have a challenge for you, Rivian. You are uniquely positioned to make an all-electric, actual Wrangler competitor, and I think the R3 is your way in. I want the R3 Wranglerized, for lack of a better way to put it. Where's the version where, because I mean, of course, they're in a platform share. Where's the version where removable pieces, removable top, it folds down and gets more simple because you're going to go just Baja, off-road, Moab, your R3 variant. So it's not just the R3. I'm looking for an 80% scale Wrangler, just slightly smaller than the current Wrangler, all EV from Rivian. And I think the R3 might be the way in. Forget Scout. Rivian is positioned to do this.
Well, I was wondering what that'll do to Scout to bring a competitor there to offer something else.
But I think Scout is aiming directly at Rivian, all the way down to the styling. They're aiming at that size.
Sure.
Imagine an 80% scale Wrangler EV with body panels you can
Even though there's Rivian and
off.
Scout sharing, there's
of course,
part sharing already.
But I'm just thinking there's a Wrangler competitor in this.
That's pretty good.
And that's where I'm going on Rivian. Moving on to the smart car.
Really?
I am actually showing you a smart car that has been electrically converted because can we all just acknowledge that the smart car should have been electric? It just should have.
Yeah,
when
I agree.
It came out, it had the worst thing about the smart car. I actually said this in our original smart car review. I said that the transmission was so bad, I think they had an elf behind the seat building the next gear while you use the current one. The engine and transmission in this car were one of the worst combinations I've ever driven.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was terrible. But the concept is this tiny little city vehicle that because they made such a hard structure, their whole pitch was as if you pushed a walnut into a stick of butter. The crash structure of this car was intending to not compress, to use the crash structure of the larger car it hit to reduce the mass of both cars. The packaging was good. The handling was okay. I am all for small city cars. The problem with it was the drivetrain was terrible. Smart car, slightly modernized styling, EV. And this is the EV commuter it should be.
Well, it doesn't matter how much this weighs.
It's irrelevant.
And it doesn't matter the range on this either. It just matters charging speed. And yeah, absolutely. Gliding around in one of these.
It was rear-wheel drive.
Perfect.
It had some Mercedes stuff underneath because I think Mercedes owned the brand at one point. So the dynamics were okay. This is a perfect little city car. Bring back the smart, modernize it, make it EV. That's the way the brand should have been. The guy that made the Swatch watches made the smart car. Very weird.
Right.
But anyway, that was
Take the doors off, a couple of golf bags on the back, and drive from the city to the...
I don't know. Moving on from there, I'm going to go to Subaru. I am showing a picture of the current Impreza.
Okay.
Where is the WRX wagon? The WRX hatchback. This Impreza becomes also the Crosstrek. Actually use the people that probably still work at Subaru that know how to make a sporty car, offer this in a manual and possibly even a real automatic, but offer this with performance stuff because the thing that the WRX always did that nobody else really did was it was a genuine performance car, do it all, take it on a back road. It's also a hatch. It was the hatch that really made the WRX unique. And then they make a WRX, or they made a WRX that, okay, it's a sedan only. It's like, but the thing that was most unique, you took away.
Yeah.
Other people made rally-ish cars. You made a wagon. Impreza, wagon.
Well, I think customers have wanted what was good in the past because it worked.
Yes.
Meaning the crossover that is it an SUV, a CUV? Is it a hatchback? We're not sure what to call it, but here's this blob that has the corporate styling on it. But this is actually more focused, and I think that would resonate with customers.
Subaru is getting away with selling wagons in the U.S. and calling them SUVs. The Crosstrek and the
Exactly.
Outback are both wagons.
They're wagons.
They're not SUVs, they're wagons. And somehow they've slipped in under the radar and been like, well, no, actually, that's our SUV. That's a wagon. Everybody knows it's a wagon.
The Crown Signia, that's a wagon.
True.
It's not a weirdly shaped SUV. There's a term for that. It's called wagon.
It's called a wagon. So here's the Impreza wagon. Let's make it a sporty wagon. Let's bring the WRX wagon back and sell that because nobody else is selling that. That's Subaru. Moving on again to Tesla.
You covered Tesla.
I've got a picture of the Model S, and here's why. When you and I first drove the Model S, I have to admit it, I was not about electric cars. It was my first electric car experience. Tesla announced itself so heavily with the Model S. This car, when it was announced, with the exception of the fact that I do not like to this day, I do not think a minimalist interior equals luxury. That is marketing only, and it makes the car cheaper to make. Okay, I don't think minimalist is, this is so nice in here. No, it's just bland. But
there's nothing to look at.
When the Model S came out, this was potentially the best sedan on the market.
Okay, yeah.
It was so far ahead, and it happened to also be EV. And I remember when we first drove it, we just kept discovering stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay? And even though it wasn't a car for me at the time, and even though the owner at the time was so far out front, they were having to think about infrastructure issues that didn't exist yet. All that's solved. But the Model S was like, this was the announcement car. And the engineers behind this, by the way, moved on to make what's now the Lucid, which is has completely stolen what the Model S did, which is, have you seen what we can do with an electric sedan? The Model S, you never hear about it anymore. The only thing you don't hear about less than the Model S is the X. But the Model S is completely overshadowed by the 3 and the Y. Tesla needs to make a new Model S with the thing they proved with the Cybertruck is they can design it look like anything they want.
True.
They don't have to adhere to any styling. The 3, the S, and the Y have all looked about the same. Let the 3 and the Y look the same. Let the Cybertruck die and look like a garbage can and whatever else. Take the Model S and do totally new styling. It needs to be styling led first, where it's one of those cars that the minute you see it, because I still think the Model S
looks great, yes. Actually.
But when you see the Model S, the next one you need to be like, I just want that. I don't even know who makes it. That's a gorgeous looking car.
Yeah.
So a gorgeous sedan with an actual luxury interior. Because the weird thing that the Model S did is it was trying to be, and it wasn't, it was trying to be almost affordable. But because it was Tesla's first car, it had to be high priced.
It was too expensive for the interior.
Get away with the minimalist look on the Y and the 3. Lean into this being a full 6-figure car. 150 start, okay? But a genuinely luxurious interior. All of the tech you've learned in 15 years of making cars. So it is, because the Cybertruck, for all of its issues, has got some major engineering victories going on in it. So all of your engineers, all the stuff they can do in a new Model S that's really attractive with a genuinely nice interior, where you're aiming, I'm talking like you're aiming for Bentley and Rolls in your interior.
Oh, really? Because I was going to ask if you were thinking Mercedes S-Class.
At least S-Class, at least.
Because that's huge, and I don't see the Tesla Model S being in the same size category. It's still it's more compact.
I think Mercedes should be
even the EQS was huge.
Yeah. Mercedes should be the bottom of your target.
Okay.
It needs to be like you get in the interior and you go, this is a Tesla? It's just opulent. Embrace that.
Yeah.
Make the Model S a world beater again. That is, because otherwise Tesla's just going to marginally stumble upon here, and frankly, the Chinese are going to just take it over. Moving on from Tesla to Toyota briefly. Now, I mentioned the MR2 here only. It's not actually my primary Toyota one, but I'm showing the MR2 that looked like a Ferrari, the one before the Spider.
Super cool.
Because it's such a great-looking car.
Yeah.
I'm mentioning it only because we already have it, based on my list, because Porsche's 550 is also an MR2. I got both.
True.
So I'm mentioning the MR2 there.
This is, that's hardtop. There was a Targa.
There was a Targa version. Yeah. I think it goes back to being essentially probably a Targa hardtop shape instead of being the Spider like it was before, and I think that makes it the Porsche 550 and the MR2. But my primary Toyota, I was so proud of myself, and then I had to laugh at myself with my primary Toyota idea, because I thought what Toyota really needs, and I can't believe I missed this, and you're all going to laugh at me, and it's fine. What Toyota really needs is a truck below the Tacoma. because Toyota has the Tacoma, which is getting big.
It's gotten big.
And the Toyota trucks used to be small, so they need a new T100. Now, I'm aware of the fact the T100 became the Tundra, but use the T100 brand and make a new pickup to compete with the Maverick and the Santa Cruz.
Okay.
So I went looking for somebody that had mocked this up, only to discover that Toyota's announced this. Potentially coming in 2027 is exactly what I'm talking about. They don't know what it's called yet, but Toyota has said, hey, we're going to do a new small pickup to compete with the Santa Cruz and the Maverick. So apparently I was just late to the party of the announcement and somehow missed this announcement entirely. We'll see if it's real, but Toyota has said 2027, some sort of small pickup is coming from them. I say the T100 is the name. And you are aiming directly at the Santa Cruz and the Maverick, so it's below the Tacoma. This needs to be hybrid only.
Yeah, I mean they're showing as a BEV only here, but I think
it's hybrid.
Yeah,
and
hybrid should be
it
the
doesn't
play.
need the big power that the Tacomas have got. It doesn't need it. It needs 250, maybe 300 horsepower, a decent towing capacity, a bed more usable than the Santa Cruz, which is only about as big as this table. So that's not a big bar. But sell that next to the Maverick and the Santa Cruz. I want to do that 3-car shoot right now. Let's just do that. So there's that Toyota,
funny.
which apparently exists. And then
Honda would have something, hopefully updated with the Ridgeline, and they'll come out with something
I'd
else.
thought of something, but apparently I'm way behind the Toyota product planner. So there's that. Moving on from Toyota to TVR.
Oh, you covered TVR.
I am showing the current TVR because there is a rumor that the TVR is going to come back and that Gordon Murray's involved in the design, and I'm just going to go ahead and call it. The design that I am showing on screen looks like you crossed the worst version of the Vantage with a Panos. This is not an attractive car.
I like that the exhaust exits just behind the front wheels, just like the Mercedes McLaren SLR
Love it.
did.
I'm all for it. The thing is, TVR succeeds when they're nuts. What Dodge needs for the Viper is nuts. So TVR needs to partner with Dodge for the next-gen Viper. That brings the TVR crazy quirkiness to Dodge, which is going to make that car stand out even more. And then TVR gets reliable engines and stuff that they've had trouble with in the past. So what you end up with is the Viper at $100,000. You end up with the TVR at $150,000. Slightly different markets, slightly different styling.
This is the upscale upper.
This is the
above
upscale
a Viper.
Viper. You could go the other route. I suppose TVR could undercut, but I think the thing that TVR needs to be is it needs to be the Viper is cool and a little bit nuts, and the TVR is like the disco version of the Viper, like extra nuts, like extra flamboyant. Okay, but you can use the TVR Hellcat. You can use the manual. If the TVR would like to have weird little knobs hidden somewhere to open the doors, embrace all that. But TVR needs a partner. And TVR brings crazy, which I love.
So should it have more power than a Viper then? Because if it's another jump in price,
maybe, but I don't know that it has to. We're talking about a Hellcat engine. I mean, what had happened
because then
here
what is the compelling version to buy the TVR version? You just want more luxury and it's more GT focused, and
it's more crazy, and they're not making as many, but I still think they could make their money. So you get kind of TVR plays like Lotus engineering to the Dodge in this situation. That's what I'm thinking. So plus, I just don't like this new styling at all. I think it's unattractive, and the thing is,
it doesn't seem resolved. It's a lot of cliches all over the car.
350 and the Chimera and the late 2000s, late aught TVRs when it was owned up in the early 2010s when it was owned by a crazy Russian billionaire. Those were the ones I wanted, except they made like 20 of them and they don't run. So that's what I'm trying to solve.
Stellantis has that new straight six, because what I loved about TVR was the BMW straight six that they always put in those cars.
Yeah, that's fair.
And now they've got the straight six.
Okay, you're selling me another way.
I don't know if it's down market necessarily, but maybe it could be the lighter weight version.
All right. See, now you're getting me there.
With Stellantis already has the engine to lend it to the long nose. The Dodge has the Hellcat. The TVR is the lighter weight.
Well, okay.
Six.
The RHO engine that when they made the TRX, they made the RHO, which was the straight six turbo, which was still powerful. You're right. That's the downgrade. So your TVR goes below the Viper. You've done it better.
Not downgrade necessarily. It can still be quirky and interesting.
You've done it right, because then you're right. The Viper needs to be 150, and this needs to be 90.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. Yes. That's the better way.
And
because then you do the straight six turbo.
Yes.
And it has the same chassis as the Viper, straight six turbo.
That's
craziness
interesting.
The TVR of TVR. Okay, we got there. It took both of us, but we got there. So TVR. Moving on. Volkswagen. I have two Volkswagens I'm going to show. First is the 1980s Rabbit, and the second is the last version of the Volkswagen Fox.
Okay.
But they used to have the rabbit and the fox back when Volkswagen named their cars after animals briefly to sell them in the U.S. My point here is both of these, even though this fox is quite ugly, early 2000s fox, the fox when it was originally in the U.S. was kind of boxy like this early 80s GTI.
That three-door wagon thing they had.
Yep. The rabbit was great, and the fox was this weird little boxy thing.
Yeah.
What Volkswagen's forgotten how to do is that the cars that people look back lovingly on Volkswagen were simple and light and cheap. The Bug, the Bus, the Thing.
The Thing. I was wondering about the Thing. What is that thing?
What Volkswagen used to do so well is there wasn't much car here. That thinking brought forward is what kind of car? It's the light and the simple. Again, Volkswagen, the people's car.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to what's the bottom of the market for Volkswagen. They have completely run through every possible variant of a T-named mid-size CUV you could possibly come up with.
Yeah, can we be done with that already?
Stop.
Yeah.
We need a small little hatchback, and I even recommend to you a small little sedan. Front-wheel drive, well under 200 horsepower, under 3,000 pounds. Figure out, this is German engineering. I don't believe for a second that Volkswagen doesn't have the talent to do what I'm saying. Volkswagen has great engineers.
They just only have one platform to do it with.
Yes, I know. Sorry. They have to do a whole other platform. It's crazy. Volkswagen even had the Up for a while, which actually got some good reviews.
Yes, that
tiny little city
just
car.
ended a couple of years ago.
So the point I'm making here is, what is the Volkswagen? What is the actual bottom of the market, lightweight, simple car that Volkswagen can make? I'm not saying make another GLI. Stop it.
Or a Bug. I don't want
make
the
a Jetta.
Beetle to come back.
The point I'm
either.
making here is, what is the light car? What is the low power car that can be an affordable car? And what you get out of it is you get German precision. That's the thing Volkswagen's missing is the simple people's car.
Simple can be fun. I maintain fun.
Absolutely.
Like fun.
Yes. Lightweight is fun. That's the other thing everybody forgets. Anyway, that's my list.
I hope that resonates with you. I hope this has gotten you thinking about what should come back. And if you have ideas for Topic Tuesdays, we're all ears. We would love to hear about those and things that, how can we as consumers influence the car industry and let companies know, what do we want to drive? What is the future? Because car companies are trying a bunch of things. Sometimes they get it right.
Yes.
Sometimes they don't.
This is true.
But there have been some beloved car names, obviously, in the past that we think should come out, and maybe they will. Maybe they're watching. Maybe something will get through. We knew Beaver Teeth got through. And
somebody went, check. Let's do
Neue
more of that.
Class happened.
You're
Neue
right.
Class
You're right.
is the Beaver Teeth we're back to cool kidney. Thank you.
It does look cool.
We're
yes.
back to coolness.
They don't need to be monstrous. I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge right now that apparently we need a shorter Topic Tuesday to get through car conclusions because it's not going to happen again this time, but that's okay. Since you're listening to us, you'll end up shopping for your next car. And when you do, you need Autotempest.com.
Any car, anywhere, at any price. Autotempest searches all the major car listing sites on the web, local or nationwide. And Autotempest has recently added price history for every car listed, so you can see how prices are trending and know if you found a good deal. You can also create search alerts and lists of saved searches, so you can find your perfect spec even easier the next time.
Search on any device, in your browser, or as an app for Apple or Android. New, used, or unexpected, Autotempest is how we search for cars. Go to Autotempest.com/everyday so they know we sent you. Autotempest, all the cars, one search. We've got some updates real quick. We want to talk about Hooked on Driving. There's a lot of really cool track days coming up. Portland International Raceway is happening Saturday, October 4th. That's obviously up in our Pacific Northwest region. Those guys are killing it out there. Thunderhill Raceway is doing the 3-mile course in Northern California on Thursday, October 9th. Watkins Glen Raceway is doing, the guys in the Northeast are doing a throwdown.
Yeah, they are.
This is Friday, October 10th through Sunday, October 12th. It's 3 days of track day. You can get on track. But they're also going to have camping, pig roast, band, special prizes, a party on Saturday night. This is their kind of like Oktoberfest throwdown, and we're actually going to go. I'm very excited about it. Watkins Glen, October 10 through 12. That's going to be a huge one out there. Ridge Motorsports Park, back to the Pacific Northwest on the 17th through 18th. That's a Friday and Saturday out in Seattle. And that same weekend, doing Saturday and Sunday, Sonoma Raceway in NorCal. That is October 18 and 19. So October is throwing down nationwide for Hooked on Driving. Whatever car you've got, bring it. We've got instructors that sit right seat. We've got great classes for all kinds of drivers. We'd love to have you out.
Moving on to car debate number 1 from Ian C. in Perth, Australia, writing to us because a good friend of his, who we will call Jason, got Ian onto the podcast about a year ago. So Ian, thank you so much. He says Jason is a problem for him.
So are we, apparently. Yeah,
Jason has his good points because he worships the Miata, the MX-5, yes, but he's a bad influence even though he lives on the other side of the country in Sydney. They've been shooting the breeze on cars for about 15 years, but then a couple of years ago, Jason called Ian up and said, you should go down to Hyundai and take an i20N for a drive. You'll love it. A week later, Ian put a deposit on one, and it's been great. Going through a few warranty issues. He also just got a GR Yaris, raves about it, which is now causing Ian issues.
Yeah, now that he's got the i20, Jason's raving about the GR Yaris, so maybe that's in Ian's future. I want to acknowledge real quickly that if I'm not mistaken, I believe that Perth, besides being the other end of the continent from Australia,
yes,
has the distinction of being the decent-sized city, the farthest from any other decent-sized city on the planet. They're in the middle of nowhere. And if you're a person that watches Aussie Man Reviews on YouTube, I don't give plugs often, but his stuff's hysterical. And he does all of that from Perth. Like, isolated in the world, he does all that YouTube commentary. In Ian's discussion here, he's looking for a new car that can do various things, and he's listing off things they do. And one of the things they do is they drive to the Australian Alps for family ski trips. Let me just land the geography of this real quick, because I looked it up. I was like, isn't that a long way? Oh, yeah. It's 3,700 kilometers. It's over 2,000 miles of trip from almost one coast, the western coast of Australia, where Perth is.
Far.
It's almost all the way to Sydney. It's almost all the way to the eastern coast of Australia to get the Australian Alps, which, yes, there are mountains. There is skiing. The mountains are all about 7,000 feet, so it's not huge, but they do get snow. There is skiing, snowboarding, all of the kind of stuff. But I'll tell you, real quick, as a person that lives in a ski town and was thrilled to move to a ski town, I like mountain biking and all the mountain stuff, I would not drive 2,000 miles to ski. So I applaud you, Ian.
Family vacation in the cars with the kids and the...
No. 2,000-mile drive to go skiing. You want to ski badly, but you live in Perth, and those are the sacrifices. So we're going to find you a car.
Ian's got a rather varied garage at home. He's got a Subaru Impreza WRX STI limited edition, the model year 06, that Hawkeye version.
Hawkeye, yeah.
It's not a project car, and he's owned it since new, currently with 180,000 miles and a lot of track time, 4 engines, and its second gearbox.
He says, 4 engines, second gearbox, long story. No, it's not. It's a Subaru Impreza that you tracked. That's not long story. It's just you blew engines. Yeah, moving on.
Well, he says 400 horsepower at the wheels. Lots of fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Another Subaru, Forester XT-SJ. That's his wife's previous car that is now the dog Chariot. 2 big, hairy, and sometimes muddy dogs.
Yes, I get it. Yep.
The CVT is dying and will completely die at some point in the future. The fix is worth more than the car.
Doesn't surprise me.
He says they've done the massive road trips and this for the ski holidays.
Perth to the Australian Alps for a ski holiday in a Subaru Forester.
It kills the CVT.
Apparently.
That's what it does.
But honestly, I think I'd give up too. It's 2,000 miles to ski. Anyway, moving on.
Hyundai i20N, that's the current daily, has had a few track outings, but a pile of fun, and reminded Ian that a small front-wheel drive hatch can be a blast.
Absolutely, yes.
And his wife's new luxurious land barge for the family is a Kia Sorento PHEV, the MQ4. Sips fuel, lots of daily driving, can go into EV-only mode, but they do road trips a couple times a year, probably to do the ski thing.
Apparently, yeah.
He says the gas motor is important for this, being how far Perth is.
They're in Perth, which is far
else.
from everything, yes.
The history from Ian includes a Mazda 121, a Toyota Celica R A40 Coupe that died, a Ford Laser hatchback that died.
Australia's hard on stuff. I mean, Australia is like the deserty equivalent of what Alaska is for us. It's like that untamed wilderness. It's hard on everything. Yeah,
it really is. Mitsubishi Magna TJ, the Diamante. Remember the Diamante? That was,
yes.
He traded that. Ford Focus CJ, that was his wife's old car. And then he has driven and tracked on occasion his parents' cars, a Mazda RX-8, a Mini Cooper S Coupe, the R56, and a Holden VE SS, the V Redline Commodore.
Okay. Very cool. I like it.
So the current daily is going away, and he's looking for what's next. Ian says his youngest daughter is starting a new school that is about 30 to 40-minute drive.
Okay, all right.
But he covers that as part of his office commute. And he's working from home only about 1 day a week. And he says using Ian's budget, the vague idea is somewhere around the 50 to 60,000 Australian dollars. That is the benchmark for what we're looking for.
See, 50 to 60 grand started off really well until I went to Australian dollars and saw what the cars cost there, and things did not go quite as well. Yeah.
I've still got some options.
I've got some options too, yes.
So Ian's looking for fun, small for parking in the city, hatchback preferred, but wagon is okay, like a 5-door for hauling equipment for work, hauling the kids, and the single dog trip.
Mm-hmm.
The wife, he says, his wife does not want a manual. He's got the WRX for his manual fix.
Like it.
He's not opposed to EVs. He says most distances on the PHEV fall within the EV-only range, so he likes that.
Like it.
It will not be tracked.
Okay.
And most likely new, as it will be a work-financed kind of lease.
Like it. That's good.
Also, with a smiley face emojicon on his email, he says, no golfs. He's just not a fan of Volkswagen.
Okay.
His ideas so far include a Toyota GR Corolla. No thanks to talking to Jason. You remember about his GR Yaris.
Yep, for sure.
The Lexus LBX Morizo RR. Also, no thanks in talking to Jason. That is the Lexus version only offered in Japan and I guess Australia.
We think we're a bad influence.
Different styling, completely different interior version of the GR Corolla offered there, Japan and Australia. So same everything, but just the Lexified version of that. He thought about the incoming Cupra Born VZ, but he says the brakes seem a bit weird as an EV option. And he's looking for opinions and options knowing the limited types of vehicles they get in Perth. And he says maybe they get some special editions that you don't get, like the i20N. I would love the i20N to be available or some variant of.
Yeah,
it's
very
a
cool.
great hatch. I do have choices for you, Ian, pulling up the first image here, and that is the Lexus LBX Morizo RR. I actually like the styling on this. It looks a little bit more substantial, but still very fun. I think Lexus
it actually looks surprisingly kind of flamboyant for a Lexus.
Yeah, it could be really cool, but it has the same sort of Prius shifter, the different Lexified interior that is on everything else. But I think this could be successful elsewhere. They didn't just have to offer it in Japan, or Australia. But
Jason is an awfully bad influence on our poor friend Ian here. Of course, we are too. So
we're going to keep trying
solving it,
ourselves as well. This is the i20N. I think it's superb, really cool looking car. Lots of fun, but I do understand. And you were talking about also the Cupra Born, and you'll notice the striking resemblance to the Volkswagen ID3 because that's pretty much what it is. And
True.
I know you don't want Volkswagen product, but I am going to go there, and I'm going to try to convince you because Cupra used to be the performance brand of Seat, and Cupra is kind of its own thing, even though Cupra,
he brought up Cupra, so I think you're okay.
He did.
Yeah.
I mean, Cupra leaned towards the performance version of Volkswagen products, or the performance engines.
Yes.
That's what Cupra means, and either the Leon or the Sport Tourer, that's what this represents, and there's 7 different trim variants of this, but even if you keep it low to the 150 brake horsepower, I think this is a great option for you because of the needs that you mentioned, and I think it would still be a lot of fun, and I really like Cupra products. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Volkswagen stuff either, but the Cupra stuff I am all about, actually, and it did feel like starting to become their own thing. The Fermenter, we had, cool experiences with Cupra in Europe, so I think this could be interesting for you. But also, I'm going to introduce a Mini back into your life, and I'm showing the John Cooper Works version that I fell in love with. If I were to buy a Mini, Ian, this is the one that I would get. And this was a manual, but I would say, go get yourself a Mini, get it in auto, and be done. Mini Coopers are just versatile. They're fun.
Yeah, they are.
Works for so many things, and I think you really enjoy having a Mini back in your life. You drove one. I don't know why this was not on the option list.
It's a good point. I hadn't thought about that, but I think you really have nailed it. He did kind of ignore it in spite of brushing past it as cars he's driven.
I've driven it.
Yeah.
Why not own one?
I've tracked it. Let's just get a Mini. I think, like that.
I think they're fun.
That's excellent stuff.
Well, they've grown in size too. I mean,
they're not so many
if
anymore.
If you get the new one, you're gonna
not
get this great styling, but beauty in the eye of the beholder, I guess.
No, they're just big and ugly now. Anyway, moving on. Ian, you said 50 to 60,000 Australian dollars is the key. So one of my choices doesn't work, but my other two will.
Do you?
Budget-wise, it just works. This is your runabout commuter. This is your to some degree your backup car. It's not trying to be your fun car. These just work for all of that.
That would work. Yeah.
They're out there.
Yeah.
I looked, used ones, a couple-year-old ones are like 45,000 Australian dollars. So, I mean, this is absolutely in your budget. I think this is conspicuous if it's overlooked. That's kind of how I feel. For what you're asking for, it's like Tesla Model Y just does all of that. So I went to fun, and that led me to the Hyundai Ioniq 5. The problem is
in his budget
price.
Yeah.
The new ones are about 120,000 Australian.
Awesome.
The old ones, the used ones, a couple years old, are roughly 70 to 80. So I'm above your budget no matter what I do, even though I actually think this is your answer.
I would love it if you got one of these.
This is your answer. It's out of your budget. Now, can you convince your job to get you an Ioniq 5 in? I don't know.
He's already a fan of Hyundai. He knows the i20, loves it. Keep the Hyundai.
This is the
badge.
fast electric fun you're hoping for.
This is
the
awesome.
Ioniq 5 in. So I really do think that's the answer, except for the fact I've blown the budget. So I come back down to earth for budget, and I'm very surprised to find you said no golf products, but I'm going to go there anyway, and that is the Cupra Formentor. We love it. This is the Golf R in a more interesting suit. It is fantastic. Our friend Tom drove us in one around Germany, and we did Autobahn speeds. Honestly, because Tom has no shame and is German, and he knows where the Autobahn goes to de-restricted, there is a spot that when you enter the Autobahn, going the correct direction, doesn't work in all directions. You're entering the Autobahn from the correct direction out of the Frankfurt airport. By the bottom of the on-ramp, you've hit de-restricted. Tom knew this, and he did not apologize for it. And it was four big guys in this thing, and he was at like 200K before I looked over. He was flying in that car.
Yeah.
So
it was so impressive. I really liked it.
And the four of us had space because it's a golf platform. So I think the Formentor is a really good option for you. I looked, yes, available in Australia. Yes, available under 60K. Options are out there. So
yes,
I think,
MQB. But
it
feels like its own
thing. But
he
brought up the Cupras, so I went there, and I think this actually solves it. So that's where I went.
I like it. All right, Ian, we're doing our best to also be a bad influence on you, but you still have choices, and it seems like you kind of know what you like, but you've got maybe a little bit more driving homework. I mean, minis are awesome. The Cupras, I love the Leon or the Formentor.
Yeah, they're very cool. They're doing good stuff right now.
They really are.
They're doing the flavor that we want out of Volkswagen.
That's where the fun went. Yes. It went over to Cupra.
It went to Cupra. Here's a question. I don't know. Did specific people leave Volkswagen and wind up at Cupra? Because it feels like
there was a divide off Seat.
Feels like there was a civil war one day, and all the people with fun went over to Cupra. Yeah, they're all over there.
If you have a debate like Ian's, write to us. everydaydrivertv@gmail.com. Topic Tuesdays, car debates, car conclusions. Car debate number 2 comes from Andrew Z, who writes to us with a third child arriving. And by the time this email, I think your child is close or maybe already been born.
Yep.
Andrew, thank you for writing. He says, with the third kid arriving, the Integra Type S that he owns, that's at risk of becoming impractical.
He's frustrated that the back seat is not actually a bench.
Why, Acura, would you take out the middle seat in the Integra, he writes. Why?
Yeah, okay.
Now, he needs something different because his wife wouldn't know what to do with a third pedal if he ever needs to take the kids somewhere in her MDX.
Okay, so that would strand her. We don't want to do that.
Correct.
Yeah.
So he will try to drive this until it absolutely doesn't work, but he's been trying to figure out what the good replacement for the Integra Type S is.
Okay, which is hard because that's a fantastically fun car to drive.
It is great. I mean, I'm already questioning your need to take all 3 kiddos in your car when you do have the MDX. You just need something that might fit up to 2.
But the problem
and
is...
take the MDX when you take it and your wife can drive...
The problem is she can't drive manual. So that makes
I guess that's
the
it.
issue.
I guess that's
it's just if he takes all the kids in the car, she can't use the manual. So that's what makes it a problem, which is why he was considering the Audi RS3. But he acknowledges if the ITS is a bit small, the RS3 is probably a bit small. And I actually think the Integra is going to have more space than the Audi. I think the RS3 may be out. He's also considering the Lucid Air, which is obviously not where I expected us to go after Audi. And then while we're doing curveballs, how about a new Honda Passport? He said he drove it because he thought it looks awesome, only to discover there's no fun there. While he's there shopping SUVs, now suddenly Jag F-Pace SVR.
Something we never talk about
coming either, but there that is. I actually saw one recently on a road trip and was like, I said to my wife, I said, I've never seen one on the road. So the F-Pace SVR, he said that was pretty cool, but he's worried about leasing that, which brought him to, if you're worried about reliability, where do you wind up? You end up Lexus. So he drove the GX 550. Now hang on. Integra Type S. small, fun,
Yeah.
manual transmission,
Yeah.
compact. He landed on the Lexus GX550, full off-road capable, large brick-like SUV. And of the things he's driven so far, he liked the GX the best.
I mean, it's cool.
It's cool, but it's not. We did not. These do not relate. If you and I did a review with those two, people would be like, "What are you doing?"
But it doesn't match. That's the benchmark for the budget, up to about $75,000. But then when Andrew writes, he needs something fun, automatic with its own personality, and not just an A to B appliance. His two boys, soon to be 3 years old, are budding car guys. And his wife, regretfully to herself, has said, when you turn 40 years old, maybe you could get yourself something like a Miata for your birthday.
Ah, so fun car incoming.
Yes, but not for 2 years.
Sure.
And so
okay,
now
yeah.
Andrew gawks at every Miata they pass by. It's less than 2 years away, so a fun, tossable manual car will be back in the garage soon enough. But right now he is in suburban South Jersey outside of Philly with a commute of 7 to 10 miles daily.
All right.
I don't really see you buying a GX550 for the commute options, even though it fits all the kids and stuff and everything you might need. I don't think that's the right choice.
That's a lot of truck for Jersey commute.
Where I went, Andrew, is instead to hot hatches because again, I'm trying to justify you. If you need all three in the family, you're taking the MDX. But if it's just you and one or two.
But it's about what his wife going to drive as well.
Yes, but she would enjoy it. She would enjoy the trade.
True, okay.
And your two boys are budding car enthusiasts. And what better car than a Veloster N to zip around? You can play up the third weird door and like, this is a Matchbox car, come to life.
This
kind
is
of
a
thing.
door just for you guys. They made you guys a door.
Yes.
It's just the kid door.
Sold.
Love it, yes.
And I think your wife would love driving it. It's it's a completely different flavor than an MDX, unless it's Type S. But even still, completely different, fun, interesting. And again, I'm not relying on any of my choices to take all three kids. That's not my thinking here.
Yeah.
I'm also trying to save you money so you maybe can get the Miata sooner because I know it's 2 years away. But if you see a great one, I don't want you to have to pass it up because you spent all your money on your car, taking care of the three kids, and you said fun. I come back to fun.
And by the way, what budget do you have for a Miata? Because the great thing about a Miata is they are available in every budget.
Well, he's got $75,000 allocated after he drove the GX550. So if I save him money and maybe you spend 25, 30
I see this.
on any of the hot hatches, you can just plunk down. It can already be in your garage. You can start. It'll be there. It'll be ready, waiting. And then
I like it. It's good.
I'm trying to give it to you now.
Yep. Get
Andrew,
the Miata sooner. Yes.
Now. We've got 75 to spend, this and a Miata.
A lot of life could happen in 2 years. Let's get a car and a Miata right now.
No waiting.
Like this.
No more waiting.
You'd think we were a bad influence for poor Ian. Anyway, moving on. Got it?
The 2026 GR Corolla has been announced with a lot of improvements and upgrades. Yes. It's still very interesting and a very viable choice instead of the LBX Lexus that is not available in the U.S. That's totally fine.
True,
The Corolla, any GR Corolla that is an automatic, fun, you can sell 3-engine, weird little snorty thing to your boys. They would love this thing. It's just a weird, fun little car.
I wonder if his wife could be sold on this, though. This may be a little too hardcore.
It would only take one drive, though.
I mean, they do come automatic. I will say that in the midst of the improvements of this, it's also gotten more expensive. The base version now is $40,000. Used to be available in the 30s. The base version is now $40,000, and the top version now, not even the Morizo, the top normal premium version in automatic is $50,000, which I like this a lot.
For a Corolla.
But that's also for a Corolla.
I asked for it, though.
You did.
I wanted, and when I drove the XSE,
I
said Toyota build one of these, and they delivered.
I'm not going to declare it all your fault, but we are dealing with a $50,000 new Corolla now.
I think it'd be really fun.
They're very fun. Yes.
Really interesting. So get yourself an automatic GR Corolla, but if that still, for whatever reason, doesn't work, I think you mentioned RS3. This is a little bit more upright, definitely plenty of space. Do a brake stand for your boys and, let that all-wheel drive.
Golf R versus RS3. I get it, yeah.
I think the Golf R might be a little bit better choice. I like this because it's more sporty and fun, even though the RS3 is very cool. But if you can get a slightly used Golf R, again, I'm trying to get you the Miata now to work past your budget. I'm not saying new. I'm showing a new one on screen here, but I think you should go for a Golf R. I think that is the safer choice. But I'm also hearing you're getting this car, whatever you buy right now, you're adding the Miata. This doesn't go away.
Theoretically, the Miata would be an add-on, yes.
The Miata is only the add, and
Yes.
then you'd still have this car. I think you would like the Golf R for a long time, but maybe when the Miata comes, then Andrew has a new debate and gets something completely different.
We'll be here.
Or maybe
We're
it
happy
sticks
to
around.
talk about it again, for
But
sure.
all three of those, I'm thinking hot hatch for you because fun was the first thing in your list.
Very good. Andrew, I went some similar places because this obviously inspired us to go new fun places, but let's see. Where did I go first? First off, I was very struck by the fact that you wound up on Lexus. The big Lexus SUV, that was a curveball. I'm going to circle back to it, but the first thing I think you need to go for is the Elantra N.
It's good.
The reason I say it is because you can get this right now for $40,000 on the high side. You're talking about your budget being pushed at $75,000 for the big Lexus. I think that's probably for the base one you can find. This is the Elantra N. Now, don't get it in the crazy blue because I don't know your wife's going to like that. So you just tone it down in one of the other colors. There's a white, there's a black, but you can get this in automatic, and this can be just car. The performance seats are thinner, which creates more back seat space. This actually has genuinely good backseat space. I could totally see you taking 3 kids here. Now, I obviously haven't tested the monster car seats, but this is a genuine kid car. There's backseat space in this. It can be driven normally, but anytime you have to drive it fun, it is very fun. Available right now, brand new. Elantra N is the top of my list for you. So I went sedan over hatch, but Paul and I are in a very similar place. I want to circle back around to the Lexus discussion. You started fun cars, you ended up SUV. You went Lexus GX. Now, we've talked about it a lot. I like the Lexus GX more than I like the current Land Cruiser for similar money, okay? But I don't think you want Land Cruiser or the GX. Take your money, take less of your money, and get yourself a brand new 4Runner. And here's why. They are cheaper than the GX. You can get them without all of the super iForce Max. I'm required by law, apparently, to say it that way. The iForce Max engine, iForce Max engine is the extra engine with the extra power. You don't need it. You just get the quasi-base engine, which is just the hybrid, not the extra madness.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You can get this for significantly less than both the Land Cruiser and the GX. You can get it below that. You might even be the buyer who buys the rear-wheel drive only version. But the thing I like so much about the 4Runner is the fact that this is the version of that kind of shared chassis and architecture that they're doing that you can buy that will just run two-wheel drive. You can go to 4, but the Land Cruiser and also the GX are all-wheel drive all the time. They've got all that running gear in motion all the time. They're heavier, and there's something exciting or more exciting behind the wheel of having a rear-wheel drive truck that you can take to 4-wheel drive when you need it. You might not even need the 4-wheel drive running gear, so you could get an even cheaper 4Runner. But I think the 4Runner is the play here if you want a mean-looking, fun-to-drive SUV from the Toyota lineup. It's 4Runner over GX or Land Cruiser, and I'm stopping there.
It's good. Andrew, thank you so much for writing to us. Again, everydaydrivertv@gmail.com. When you're thinking of, you saw a car and you want to drop us a note, please do. Car debates, car conclusions. Topic Tuesdays, too.
We will get back to car conclusions, I swear, but we keep blowing out our time frame because we keep talking so long on these cool Topic Tuesdays. We're going to do a lot more fun ones there. I'm going to go to a couple of questions you guys have thrown out. I really like this one from Zach. He said, if Paul was forced to own Todd's Emira and Todd was forced to own Paul's GT4, who would be happier?
What have you come up
We
with?
had each other's cars. Who would be happier about it?
Yeah.
Forced to. I actually think ultimately you would like the Emira.
I mean, I already love it.
I'm saying I think
love
of the two of us. I like your GT4 a lot. It's an awesome, awesome car. But I think the fact that and maybe I'm stacking the deck in my answer, but I think the fact that I have a raw car in my Elise, if I had the GT4, I'd be like, this is kind of a variant on the same thing. But I think you would like the Emira very, very much.
I would. Interesting. I mean, I think you'd love the GT4, but
GT4
it's a
is an awesome car.
focused. But the Emira is such a great all-arounder. Track, GT, drive it all the time.
I don't know. I just that's a great question, Zach. I really thought that was cool.
On Facebook, Adrian Lane has never really noticed how many cars had rear diffusers. He thinks most of them are just to look sporty. You're onto something here, Adrian. Seeing his on his 2.0 Giulia versus wife's M240i, the Giulia's looks a lot more real.
I don't disagree with you. I do see that. Yep.
Adrian's question is, what is the most functional rear diffuser on a non-performance car? Without a lot of wind tunnel testing, we'll never actually really know.
Yes, come on.
But you said sporty, and you're onto something, and that is because designers use that trick to finish off the rear of a car and define it in the marketplace, especially if it's designed to be positioned like, oh, it's a little bit more towards the sport, or it's a little bit more towards luxury.
Yeah.
Designers use certain cues, and it doesn't necessarily need to be wind tunnel tested. It's not like
Looked really good on paper. Look, it's got strakes.
it kind of does, and
Yeah.
designers do
Yeah.
that all the time. But it's not like this needs to suck the car to the ground because you're going track speeds all the time, and it's not really. We don't need to manage that airflow. In many cases, they do, and all the cars are wind tunnel tested anyway. But when you perform CFD on something like a Giulia, it's not like you're looking for max downforce. You would move up to the Quadrifoglio, and that's when designers and engineers really start getting serious about what the performance benefits are, because that's how the car is sold. But on something that is just, maybe it is just cosmetic, but it evokes that kind of sporty flavor, and that's what sells cars. To determine which non-sporty car has the best rear diffuser, oh man, we're going to have to do a lot of wind tunnel testing. And then what do we come up with?
Could I rent your wind tunnel for a while?
Well, but then what do we come up with? We
Yeah.
determine which one is best, but then we determine it's still non-sporty. And if you want a sporty car, get the higher sporty model. So most of the time it's cosmetic. It looks cool, but many of them are definitely tested. And if it does have benefit, that's part of the marketing for the car.
You remember when Toyota's last gen Corolla, I think it was last gen Corolla, they made an S, and part of the reason it was an S is because they put a little lip spoiler on the back of the trunk.
Adhesive.
It was still a little front wheel drive car where no real changes, but it has an S badge in red and a lip spoiler. Aerodynamics are fun. Yeah. Anyway, this fun question as well by Playground Builder says, why doesn't Ford make a four-door Mustang branded as a Lincoln and compete with Cadillac? Lincoln is lost in a long wilderness. I'm not sure they're coming back. They have dabbled in many things. They tried to bring back the Continental, which was a cool idea, but the only thing that Lincoln seems to do well, and they've done it well, is take Ford SUVs and completely remake them. So the interior is genuinely theirs, and they have a crazy cool looking SUV. And that seems to actually have been somewhat successful for them. Since Ford doesn't really want to sell cars, I can't imagine how badly Lincoln would do with it. But I am surprised, to your point about a four-door Mustang, why doesn't Lincoln sell a Mach-E? What's the Lincoln version of the Mach-E?
Because Lincoln takes Ford vehicles and turns them into lounges.
True.
The Mach-E is not really a lounge.
It's not, but it's your four-door Mustang. I hate to say it that way, too.
But it's still the Mustang that was designed to be a driver's car, kind of.
The Mustang is of the Ford lineup right now. It is the driver's car.
But the Mustang, I mean the
current Mustang.
I mean
the Mach-E.
The Mach-E. I mean,
look, the Mach-E GT is far more capable than it has any business being, and I would still tell you buy the non-GT because the suspension's better.
True, but Lincoln would be like, whoa,
what do we do with this?
We're a lounge on wheels.
We are
company.
A lounge. Yes, welcome to the lounge, Lincoln. Yes,
you have to drive. Well, now we got to change the seats. Oh man, now we got to change.
I mean,
buy the Mach-E.
Let me put it to you this way, Playground Builder. What if Lincoln had a race team? Then they could get by with making a sporty sedan. But right now, Lincoln's entire image is just hang out in luxury. So if they had anything that had any performance in their lineup, I think the few buyers they've found would be quite confused by it, because the buyers that are going there are looking for SUVs and luxurious. Their seats are good, their interiors are nice, and so you drop that performance sedan on the Lincoln buyer, they'd be like, what am I doing here?
You're onto something here. Lexus has a race team.
Yes.
Cadillac has a race team.
Yes.
Genesis is entering Le Mans.
This is how you change perception when you're a luxury brand.
Where's Lincoln? But Lincoln Racing with the
Lincoln Racing.
Once
you hear Lincoln, you think log.
Drying your eyes from tears of laughter.
Yes.
Then what?
Uh-huh. You hear Lincoln, you think log. Lincoln log cars now racing.
Lincoln
Yay!
Lounge.
Yeah, the Lincoln Lounge is better. I do like that.
I'm not
Yes.
sure what could they could benefit. I know they could benefit. They're just trying to position
Starting
themselves.
at the back of the grid, Lincoln.
I mean, do you see Lincolns being tested on the ring?
No.
No. Every
And
other
you know what?
Range Rovers are.
You know what, Lincoln, good for you, because every time we're there and we see some SUV going around the ring, we're like, really? Are we here?
It's an
Stop
X7. It's
Stop.
a Range Rover. It's a giant Audi. It's something huge.
I
from Mercedes.
inexplicably now would like to take a Lincoln Navigator around the ring just to say we did it.
Full of people.
Oh, absolutely. Every seat and seatbelt are used. Absolutely. That's what we're doing.
We will end there. Thank you so much for all your questions, your interaction. Really appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Spotify video, Spotify audio, and also you're watching this probably on YouTube as well. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Until next time, cheers, everyone.